Imagine, if you will, a creature straight out of your wildest dreams, a creature that once roamed the earth but vanished thousands of years ago. Now just picture that creature, the legendary dire wolf, brought back to life through the wonders of science. This isn't science fiction, but a potential reality that has sent shockwaves through the scientific community, and honestly, captured the imaginations of people worldwide. The dire wolf, a larger and more powerful cousin of the grey wolf, disappeared from the face of the earth around 13,000 years ago, along with many other large mammals during the late Pleistocene extinction event. Now, whispers of its return are echoing through the halls of scientific institutions, hinting at a future where the past might, well, truly be resurrected. The possibility, however, is not without its controversies. While the prospect of seeing a pack of dire wolves roaming in a protected habitat is thrilling to some, it raises complex ethical and ecological questions. Is it right to bring back a species that has been extinct for millennia? And what impact would this have on the delicate balance of our existing ecosystems? Leading the charge in this audacious scientific endeavor is Colossal Biosciences, a company at the forefront of de-extinction research. Colossal has made headlines for its ambitious projects aiming to bring back extinct species, with the woolly mammoth being perhaps the most well-known. Now, they've set their sights on the dire wolf, promising a future where these ancient predators could, once again stalk the earth. Their claim, however, rests on the success of a revolutionary technology: genetic engineering. De-extinction, the science of bringing extinct species back to life, is still in its infancy, fraught with challenges and uncertainties. But the allure of turning back the clock on extinction, of righting the wrongs of the past, is a powerful motivator for scientists at Colossal. The successful resurrection of the dire wolf would be a monumental achievement, not just for Colossal, but for science as a whole. It would signify a giant leap forward in our understanding of genetics, evolution, and really the very essence of life itself. The story of the dire wolf's potential revival begins with its initial discovery in the fossil record. In the mid-19th century, fossilized remains of this prehistoric predator began to emerge from the earth, painting a picture of a creature both familiar and strikingly different from the wolves we know today. The first dire wolf fossils were discovered in the United States, primarily in the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles, California. These tar pits, a treasure trove of fossils, have yielded thousands of dire wolf specimens, making it one of the best-studied prehistoric carnivores. Early paleontologists, struck by the animal's robust build and formidable teeth, classified it as a distinct species of wolf, Canis dirus, meaning fearsome dog in Latin. The discovery of numerous complete skeletons allowed scientists to reconstruct the dire wolf's physique, revealing a creature larger and more powerfully built than its modern grey wolf relative. Based on fossil evidence and comparisons with modern wolves, scientists believe that dire wolves were social animals, living and hunting in packs. De-extinction, the science of bringing back extinct species, might sound like something out of a science fiction novel, but it's a field that's rapidly gaining traction. There are three main methods that scientists believe could be used to achieve this seemingly impossible feat: backbreeding, cloning, and genetic engineering. Each method has its own set of advantages, disadvantages, and ethical considerations. Backbreeding involves selectively breeding individuals of a closely related living species that possess certain traits of the extinct animal. Over generations, with careful selection, it's theoretically possible to recreate a facsimile of the extinct species. This method has been used to bring back the aurochs, an extinct species of wild cattle, by selectively breeding modern cattle breeds that carry aurochs genes. Cloning, on the other hand, involves extracting DNA from preserved tissues of the extinct animal and injecting it into an egg cell from a closely related living species. The egg cell, now containing the extinct animal's DNA, is then implanted into a surrogate mother. This method was famously used in 1996 to create Dolly the sheep, the first mammal cloned from an adult somatic cell. Genetic engineering, the most complex and cutting edge of the three methods, involves manipulating the genome of a closely related living species to match that of the extinct animal. This is done by identifying specific genes responsible for the extinct animal's unique traits and editing the genome of the living species, to include those genes. This technique holds great promise for de-extinction, but it also raises the most ethical concerns. Colossal Biosciences chose genetic engineering as the most viable method for bringing back the dire wolf. Their approach hinges on the fact that dire wolves and grey wolves share a common ancestor. By comparing the genomes of these two species, scientists at Colossal could identify the genetic differences that gave rise to the dire wolf's unique physical characteristics. The first hurdle was obtaining viable DNA from dire wolf remains. Fortunately, the La Brea tar pits, where many dire wolf fossils have been found, provided a unique environment for DNA preservation. The tar, acting as a natural preservative, helped to protect the DNA within the bones from degradation. Once they had successfully sequenced the dire wolf genome, the next challenge was to identify the specific genes responsible for the dire wolf's larger size, powerful bite, and other distinguishing features. This involved painstakingly comparing the dire wolf genome to that of the grey wolf, searching for key genetic differences. With these genetic differences identified, Colossal scientists could begin the intricate process of gene editing. Using CRISPR-Cas9 technology, a revolutionary gene editing tool, they could precisely target and modify specific genes in grey wolf cells, essentially rewriting the genetic code to incorporate the desired dire wolf traits. After years of research and development, the moment of truth arrived. Colossal Biosciences announced the birth of several dire wolf cubs, marking a significant milestone in their de-extinction project. These cubs, born to surrogate grey wolf mothers, represented the culmination of years of groundbreaking scientific research and technological innovation. However, these newborn cubs were not simply replicas of their extinct ancestors. They were the product of both ancient genes and modern genetic manipulation, a testament to humanity's growing ability to manipulate the very building blocks of life. These cubs, born into a world vastly different from the one their ancestors roamed, represent a new generation of dire wolves. Their existence raises intriguing questions about identity and belonging in the animal kingdom. Are these genetically engineered creatures truly dire wolves, or are they a new hybrid species? And how will they adapt to a world shaped by millennia of ecological change? The announcement of the dire wolf cub's birth was met with a mixture of excitement and skepticism. While some celebrated the scientific achievement, others questioned whether these genetically modified animals could truly be considered dire wolves. Critics argued that while these cubs might share some genetic similarities with their extinct counterparts, they were essentially altered grey wolves, not true representations of the species that disappeared millennia ago. The debate hinges on the definition of a species, a complex and often contested concept in biology. Some argue that a species is defined by its unique genetic makeup, while others emphasize the importance of shared evolutionary history and ecological roles. The dire wolf cubs, with their mix of ancient and modern genes, blur these lines, challenging traditional notions of species boundaries. The successful revival of the dire wolf, if indeed these cubs prove to be viable representatives of the species, presents a new set of challenges. Releasing these animals into the wild is not simply a matter of opening the cage and letting them go. It requires careful consideration of their ecological role, their impact on existing species, and their ability to thrive in a world vastly different from the one their ancestors inhabited. Dire wolves, as apex predators, played a crucial role in regulating prey populations in their prehistoric ecosystems. Introducing them into modern ecosystems could have cascading effects on existing food webs. Furthermore, there's the question of competition with existing predators such as wolves and coyotes. How would the presence of dire wolves impact the delicate balance of these predator-prey relationships? The de-extinction of the dire wolf raises a fundamental question about conservation priorities. Should we focus our limited resources on bringing back the dead, or on protecting the species teetering on the brink of extinction today? Some argue that de-extinction is a distraction from the urgent task of addressing the current biodiversity crisis. They believe that our efforts and resources should be directed towards protecting endangered habitats, combating climate change, and mitigating the threats driving countless species towards extinction. Others, however, view de-extinction as a valuable tool in the conservation toolkit. They argue that bringing back extinct species could help to restore lost ecological functions, enhance biodiversity, and inspire public support for conservation efforts. The debate over de-extinction highlights the complex ethical and ecological considerations surrounding our relationship with the natural world. As we develop increasingly powerful technologies to manipulate life itself, we must proceed with caution, guided by a deep understanding of the potential consequences of our actions. The future of life on Earth may depend on it.